Recording in progress.
Sue?
Yes.
Can I be so as always just co-host?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. All right. Welcome everybody to welcome to the world of ability.
And I'm going to ask you to hold on 1 second since we're going to reset here so I can get the live stream started. Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Welcome everybody to the world of ability, which is part of the World of Ability podcast network. That was started a couple of years ago by Kurt and Marcus Hart. And the World of Ability is one of the anchor shows of the World of Ability podcast network, where we are talking about things connected with the disability community and disability advocacy. And I am Emily, one of the co-hosts today, along with Kurt Roskopf. We are joined today by a few great guests: Allison Petty, Tony Hunt, Shawn Rollins, and Marianne Ambrose, who's been on here many times before. So let's get started, and let's bring Allison in here. Welcome, Allison.
Hi, Emily.
I always start off with maybe kind of introduce yourself, like saying who you are, what you do, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes, just or shorter.
Whatever you want to say about.
Okay, cool. I'll give you my little sort of nutshell of what I do. So, hi everyone, really nice to be here. Thank you, Emily and Kurt, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I'm Alison. I'm based in Wales in the UK, so you can tell by the accent. But I'm a mindset coach, and I specialise in resilience and transformational coaching. But there's a really good reason that I coach, and that's because when I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with in the States what's known as CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, and fibromyalgia. And I spent the following 24 years predominantly bedbound and in a wheelchair, living a very grim existence over those years. But my transformational journey began in 2016 when I attended an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming training program, and was never in a wheelchair again from being on that course. But more importantly, I never relapsed again. I've spent the last almost 7 years now rock climbing and mountain biking and living a very full life in the mountains of North Wales over here in the UK. So I now am an advanced master practitioner of NLP coaching hypnotherapy, and I help other people now figure out whatever's holding them back in their life. Whether it's a chronic illness or a mental health struggle, it's all about just helping them overcome that block that's holding them back. So I work with people from all walks of life, from like a 12-year-old boy who couldn't get into school because of such severe anxiety. We had one session and he could get back into school with a big smile on his face, to working with a principal of a sixth form college over here who's in a really good place in his life, but we work together to help him excel even better in his role so he can have a more impactful effect on his college and his pupils and his teachers. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. Does that answer the question?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But we kind of go around here and have everybody introduce themselves. How about we go over to Tony Hunt from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, thank you. Peace and blessings from Omaha, Nebraska. My name is Tony Hunt, and I am a founding affiliate with Nowsite SalesFlow based in London. We offer the world's first lead generation search engine powered by artificial intelligence technology. So I love to open up relationships with people, build and grow, and I'd love to open up a relationship with you. Peace and blessings.
All right, and we bring in Shawn. Would you like to introduce yourself? Say who you are, what you do?
Emily, you're muted at the moment.
Oh, here we go. So Shawn, would you like to introduce yourself? Say who you are, what you do? Shawn, for some reason we are not hearing you. So how about we bring in Marianne? Marianne, we want to see where we are, what you do, and any updates that you have from where you're at.
Hola, I'm Marianne Ambrose. I go by Marianne YPP. 32 years ago, I was a case manager with mentally ill deaf adults at an agency called Transition Support Programs. And I lived in Hawaii for over a decade on a sailboat and had a beautiful dream of living and interpreting for a deaf man for over a decade. So I am currently now residing in San Carlos, Mexico, and the author and app developer of the Acts of Kindness series, featuring 200 folk mana puppets. My books are written for animation movies with sign language characters and soundtrack by Hawaiian local artist Lucy and the Perfect Wave. So Allison, you're in Wales. So I'd like to introduce my first book called Under the Kindness, featuring Noah, the Hardy Green Whale. And everyone can go visit my website and meet Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab, and Chelsea, the courageous sign language chicken, and Eve, the finger spelling bumblebee. So yes, it's a whale watching season, and I'm looking really forward to sailing around here in San Carlos, Mexico, with my neighbor on the sailboat. Some of you followed my journey. I've lived on a sailboat in Hawaii and sailed, and whale watching over here is the orcas. So I'm looking forward to seeing orcas over here. And the humpbacks are being sighted around worldwide. So again, everybody go visit actsofkindnessseries.com website. All classroom teachers, United States of America, can receive copies of my books for free from an organization, Donors Choose. That's donorschoose.org. I also have coloring books now, t-shirts, and you can go meet the characters and learn the ASL alphabet for free. And then go play the Apple app games for free as well. So far, we have several different app games due to the pandemic and stimulus. And I'm looking forward to attracting additional abundance of funding to continue the app games and to bring the goal and vision of this into animation movies like Dora the Explorer and Hello Kitty and all that. So we have 500 million people worldwide now with the hearing loss. We have millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service in the military who can't hear their own children or grandchildren. So these Acts of Kindness series, again, are going to be available for all USA classroom teachers. So Emily, what I've done now is I'm working with a Fiverr team to email blast 30,000 United States of America schools their press release kit, as well as 30,000 deaf blind schools in the United States. Doesn't mean they can't be purchased worldwide on Amazon and Audible, but it's a gift for all United States of America classroom teachers to request these books, post it. Someone should come through and you can read a chapter per week and then learn the ASL alphabet with a coloring book and play the app games. So go out and play. So glad to be back here. That's where I am. I'm in San Carlos, Mexico. I'm Marianne of YPP, author and application developer. Aloha.
Alrighty.
Gracias. Thank you.
Oh
shit.
So Shawn, Shawn, you are on mute. For some reason, I don't know why we're not hearing you at the moment. But does anybody have any questions for anybody? Tony? Anybody have anything that they wanna? So let me see.
Well, who is the new person that was not on here, Emily?
Allison is here from the UK.
And there's another gentleman that.
And we have Shawn on here who, for some reason, we're not.
Okay.
Seems like they're having.
Emily, can you give us an update on the Sunflower Grant Writers project of 23?
I have been having a little bit of issue getting through them, but I will. Well, the issue with getting through to Craig and whatever, but I will follow up with them and get back to you on that. Now this project is for those of you who don't know, is a project out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That is a what's the word? Like urban revitalization project. They have had success in other places like Florida, Texas, Minnesota, and in revitalizing different things. So they are looking to do this in Milwaukee, and to have looking to bring like 500 jobs. Are looking for 500 people. For this, but anyway, so Allison, do you have any?
What do you guys normally talk about this podcast? Because this is my first time here, so I don't know. Do you guys discuss topics or?
Yeah, Tony, do you have any questions, comments, anything you want to?
Well, you asked the wrong person. I'll eat up all the time, but I promise not to be long-winded. I'm so excited. It's taken a lot of discipline to sit in my chair and not explode out of it. We are launching NowSite 2.0, which is a AI type of technology owned by Microsoft and Elon Musk and another heavyweight. And we are the first company that gets to use this AI. We've had AI, and a lot of people think they know what it is, but it's so much better than what people think. And we are doing a live demo, our founder and CEO, on Tuesday, where, and I do work with people with super abilities and have been since 1985. I'm a non-practicing attorney. Don't ask me any legal questions. I will throw them back at you, and I will hit you with them. And then I'm a real estate investor. But thing about the technology is so exciting is I can help people with super abilities kind of level the playing field and give them leverage. For instance, with this technology, you can speak into existence. Say you're into health and wellness, and you want to get the word out about NLP, for example, and Tony Robbins and what neuro-linguistic program can do for people in similar situations. So you just speak it to AI, literally, and it will craft 2, 3, 4, 5 different professional messages for you. And then you can say, well, make it so that a seventh grader can understand. And it'll craft it that way. Or you could say, make it funny. And it'll craft that message that way and put it out there, post it on your website, blog, all the stuff that we already do as a company. So we're super excited to integrate with them. When you're disciplined in a certain area, sometimes things come along that just absolutely fit what your end goal is. So I again, my calendar's in the chat. I'd love to chat with you guys or invite you to a live demo sometime. Is that a lot to chew on that? There's a lot of meat on that bone.
Thank you, Tony. Let me. We are going. Let me see. So, Marianne, do you have any updates from? So no updates from with what you're doing.
Shoot, am I?
All right, so I go back to that. Marianne, are you with us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. I'm on an Android phone. I'm just an Apple, so. No, I just
Okay.
I'm getting organized to launch next month the release to schools and 3,000 deafblind schools, and to see what their response is back to getting my books and playing the app games. So that's currently my project, and like schedule a meeting with writers. So I fit in your shoes for 2023, Emily.
Okay.
And I'm just meeting people in St. Carlos, volunteering at a couple of community thrift stores. One of the thrift stores, when you purchase products from it, it's called the Roskopf. They actually donate. Well, they give the money to the ambulance, EMT, as their salary. So it's a win-win situation. And volunteering at Castaways Thrift Store too, with the children and some of the people in the community. So a lot of people are donating and raising money, helping the community for single mothers with children. And a nice lady, Laura, she's working really hard to become an English teacher online with University of Phoenix. And she's a little go-getter, and she's out there putting herself out there volunteering. And she came up with some great flyers and handouts to translate the American alphabet to English, American English alphabet to Spanish, and Spanish versus that. So it's just been a nice little time to be here in San Carlos. It's beautiful down here. There's a little, there is some publicity with crime and the safety of people in Mexico here, but the weather is warming up, and doing a lot of walking, met a lot of nice Canadian people, playing some cards, and that's pretty much it. They got great music down here. The marina's beautiful. It's just been cold and the wind, and just seeing some other parts of the world down here, and agricultural foods, and it's just a nice little community here. Hope we just all stay safe and prosper. So that's what I'm working on, Emily. So the book's on the website again. It's actsofkindnessseries.com. All United States of America classroom teachers can go on donorschoose.org and request the books for ocean cleanup. It's whale watching season. You can eat Dr. Fingers, the spelling hermit crab, on the website here. You can learn the American Sign Language alphabet. And then you can go test your skills with practicing words on Apple and Android. So I am live with a membership. We have several different apps on there for each of the chapter online games, and we're manifesting the abundance with Sunflower Grant Writers to continue the project and to bring these books into animation movies. So that's what I'm up to, and again, how to be sailing, around San Carlos, Mexico here, and I heard the orcas were coming, so I'm looking really forward to seeing orcas this year.
All right. I want to bring. All right.
Thank you again for having us.
I actually want to bring Allison back in here today to tell more about her story. And I know you do are a mindset coach. Like what kind of do you do with your clients as like a mindset coach?
So it depends on the person, really. It's whatever's going on, as I said earlier, for the person, whatever struggle they've got going on in their life, whatever's holding them back. So it really varies. It could be coaching, conversational work together. I always say that I'm not going to give you the answers, but I'll ask you the questions that will help you find those answers for yourself. So that's why coaching is really empowering for that person, because it gives them that sense that they can actually, the answers are within them already. They just sometimes need a little bit of a nudge. But then I also, as I say, I'm an NLP practitioner as well. So a big fan of Tony Robbins, Tony, as you mentioned there. I love that guy. He's great. I would do a lot of NLP work with my clients as well. So whether it's phobias or resolving that phobia. I had a client 2 days ago who couldn't remember the phobia at the end of the session that we started with. So it's just completely changing that narrative that's in their brain. But lots of other things, whether it's just working with anxieties or overwhelmed by life. That's very common. Lacking of confidence, all those human things that a lot of us know already. So it really depends on the person.
I can only imagine with being in your situation for that long. What it would do on somebody's thinking and like their mindset and that kind of thing. You'd like to say anything kind of more about that, or kind of what your thing going through what you're going through?
Sorry, how do you mean? So with my experience, how did I deal with that? Or
yeah.
Oh, you just have to, I guess, don't you? You know, it's one of those things when you have a big challenge in your life and you've got to just deal with it. It's like, what's the alternative? I certainly wasn't going to give up and just kept looking for the answer. And for me, it was NLP. For someone else, it'll be something else, but maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially just harnessing the neurology that you already have in your brain. It's a beautiful thing. It's right here. And you just have to learn how to use it so that you give your brain the right roadmap for your life. So, yeah, it's really powerful and really good fun working with people in that way as well. I love now doing that with my clients and helping them make the change they want to make.
So, like, when did you start this whole your
coaching?
mindset?
A couple of years. Well, my business is about 2 years old, a year and a half old, but it's like maybe a few years now, really, that I've been sort of really immersed in it and loving it. But as a business, as a coach, like a couple of years, yeah. So yeah. But I mean, there's all kinds of coaching and all kinds of ways people can access this stuff. So that's the great thing. It's unique for the person.
So how did you get into the whole rock climbing? And
when I was a teenager, I just went on a school holiday and fell in love with it. We did some rock climbing, but then I became ill, and 24 years where I couldn't do anything like that. So for me, as soon as I got well, I was going to go somewhere where there was mountains and I could rock climb. And that for me was, so I'm from England. I was born and raised in England, but Wales for me, there's a lot of rock climbing there. So I moved there and I met some climbers and just started climbing. And I've just been in Spain for 3 weeks before Christmas climbing, and I love it. It's a real passion of mine. Like, coaching is purpose. I've discovered what that word means now. I didn't know my whole life until I started coaching that's for me purpose. But rock climbing is a passion, as many other things are as well. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You get to go beautiful places and see beautiful landscapes. And
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So what were you doing in Spain?
Oh, climbing in Spain.
Oh, climbing in Spain. Okay.
Yeah. I went out for 3 weeks just before Christmas because it gets really cold and wet here, and you can't climb here in the winter outdoors. So everybody goes to Europe, Spain, or Greece, and goes climbing there, and then comes back here for the spring. We can climb again here. So it's much more fun when it's warm and dry.
So like, where did you go for the resilience and transformational coaching?
Well, that's what I now do. That's what my specialty is. I've trained in that over the last year in coaching, but so I have a really my trainer is the guy who created the NLP technique that got me well. So he's very, very good. He's one of the top NLP practitioners in the world. So I've been training with him.
And so Kurt joined us. Look who's here.
Hello.
Who decided to show up.
It's so fire.
Yeah, so Kurt, we went around. Marianne was here, but then we've just kind of Tony kind of introduced himself. Allison did. Shawn, so we're just kind of talking with Allison a little bit here. So, do you have any questions, comments, and so on for? Because Allison has the whole rock climbing and I think you know a little bit about her background. But do you have anything you want to say?
Well, let's start with what I just heard. I just heard rock climbing. So Allison, Tony, Shawn, and everybody under the sound of my voice, here we go. Rock climbing. The story that I tell about rock climbing is in the community just south of me, where I do a lot of my recreational activities. There is a great place for indoor rock climbing, the rock climbing walls, adventure rock. And so what was my experience at Adventure? Well, first of all, I have a daughter who had some activities, birthday parties or whatever at Adventure Rock. But really what initially got me going with the business of Adventure Rock here in my area was that I'm involved in adaptive sports and recreation. And so Adventure Rock has a wonderful, inclusive program that empowers people with physical disabilities to do rock climbing. So here we have people with quadriplegia, people with paraplegia, and so to kind of bridge the mind, have a mindset to say, a person who is using a power wheelchair can also rock climb. And what a wonderful program. And not only that, not only can people with physical disabilities do rock climbing, they can teach us how to do adaptive rock climbing. And in the coaching that we received from one of the volunteers, participants and volunteers, an athlete, when we were working on developing this program, had a moment where he asked if we wanted to hear something, that might suggest a shift in how we deliver the program, and with a very specific point. And the leaders of the program very much welcomed and showed the eagerness of what he was going to say. And what he said was, okay, here we are. We have a wonderful program here, adaptive rock climbing, and we're teaching the volunteers, like, okay, when you get to Adventure Rock, this is what you would do as a volunteer. And then when you get with an athlete, this is what you do with the athlete. This is how it works. And, up the wall, down the wall, talk to the athlete. Okay, where do we do from here? And so on and so forth. And so the competence is built with the volunteer. They have the mindset and the confidence. And, confidence comes from competence. And so they're ready to go. So the volunteer is like, all right, I know how to do adaptive rock climbing. So what this athlete says, it's all great. I mean, yeah, we need to do that, but now you're missing a piece. He said, what I would suggest is that you might add into your training that, okay, now that you know about all of it, when you get started, when you get into it, have these moments where you kind of forget about it. And you just ask the athlete, hey, I'm happy to help. Thank you for doing rock climbing with me. How would you like to go about this? Or what do you know about rock climbing? And to just start from where the athlete is at and the expectations and the experience of the athlete. Because he's like, what's happening is, as an experienced athlete, these volunteers are coming in here. You need to do this, you need that, I'm going to do this next. Okay, I'm going to do this. And getting ahead of the athlete. And then all of a sudden we're sitting here like, well, wait a minute. I'm the person that lives with this physical disability 24/7, 365. And this isn't my first day at a rock climbing wall. I think I know quite a bit about how to do this. So he's like, it's fine. We as athletes, we can work to continue training with your volunteers as well, and our part. But it's like, since you heard me out, you might want to add that in your training. And that's what happened. And it's more, my story is more an adaptive water ski. So what that empowered me to do is to leave that adaptive rock climbing wall experience with a different mindset of how I'm going to continue the adaptive water ski program. See, that to me is one of the nuggets that the disability community taught me. And I'll tell you what, there's a pile of nuggets that when you pile them up, you wouldn't even, if it was in front of me, you wouldn't see me on the camera. There's so many nuggets, but that was one nugget. And I've reached a day where I profess my relationship with people with disabilities that I'm in awe. I'm awestruck. That it's like, wow, I totally for 40 years had the wrong idea about my friends in the disability community, the entirety of the disability community. 2 billion. That is billion with a B, ladies and gentlemen. Billion with a B, 2 billion people. So 1/4 of the world's population. If you didn't know, 8 billion people. There was in 2022, the 8 billionth baby was celebrated. So what a point in time we're at. So what do you think of that, Allison? Anything speak to you in terms of connecting to what you do with mindset?
Well, yeah, that's a great story. And so you actually climbed yourself then as well?
What is open?
No, she asked about you
climbing. You climbed as well yourself? Hello? Can you hear me?
You're asking if I'm blind?
No, she was asking about you climbing, rock climbing.
So you
climbing? Oh no! I'm an acrophobe. The most acrobatic thing I've done, Allison, is I dressed up and I went goofy willy-nilly over a jump during a water ski show.
Okay.
A 5-foot jump.
Okay.
Other than that, no, I'm an acrophobe. I mean, I started climbing up a ladder and I'm like, ooh, don't want to be here. And I shouldn't say that. I have done rock climbing. My daughter kind of laughs at me because there too, I start climbing and I'm about 8 rocks up the wall and I'm looking at the other. I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I've done a little bit, but it's a little bit that I don't want to claim to be doing what rock climbers are doing because I'm the acrophobe of the group and I do just that closer to the ground portion, just kind of say, yeah, I grabbed some rocks, I got my foot up a few, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, that's getting off the ground, isn't it? You know, still climbing.
Yeah, you're right.
How far you go, you're still climbing.
Yep, I think
you're right. Exactly.
I think Tony, do you have something? You have your hand up?
Yes. This is Allison. I think you and Kurt know this. I once did a weekly show called The Power of Self-Talk, and when I hear someone's into NLP, it tells me almost everything I need to know. Number one, it tells me that the person believes in affirmations and incantations and positive self-talk. And I had a question for Allison. Have you done the fire walk?
Tony Robbins fire walk. Well, unfortunately, I've never been to a Tony Robbins seminar. I've not known him to be over here in recent years, but no, I mean, I would do it 100%. But no, of course. Yeah. I'd be straight on it. I'd be the first one. Yeah. I'd love to go to one of his, one of his events, but America's a very long way. We're very expensive. And then I know his events are very expensive as well. So, but maybe one day.
Can you tell us a story of one of your coaching clients that were pardoned in a uncomfortable, unfavorable situation, and they may still be there had you not been involved?
I could tell you many, I'm very happy to say. And I don't mean that in any arrogant way, I just mean that's the power of NLP, and when you learn how to coach somebody and use it. I mean, I can tell you, I'm doing a lot of work with people with phobias at the moment. It would seem that seems to be quite a common thing at the moment. I had a lady 2 days ago who, I think I said earlier, she couldn't remember the phobia at the end of the hour. Well, so we started, and you have a scale of 0 to 10, so 10 being the best you could feel about whatever that thing is, 0 being the opposite, and she was a 0. This was a phobia of sleeping on her own in the house, and her partner was about to go away for a long time, so she was really, not going to be sleeping and very stressed about it. So I did this phobia resolution technique with her, and at the end of it, she was gone out the other side of a 10, but she was sat there going, what was it? What was the thing? What were we doing? She couldn't formulate the words. So that's really common. But I also know that I've had people that just very, very difficult life things or fears of things in their future. A very common one is, people having to give really big presentations and just immense stress and anxiety about it. And again, using NLP processes, they're completely transformed. They go from being hunched over, not being able to look in the eye, to sitting upright with their shoulders back and smiling by the end of the session. And then they go and do their thing, and it's fine because we've given their brain a new narrative about that event. And the brain is just believing this to be this is now the new reality. And it completely transforms their physiology and approach. So, yeah, well, there you go. The 12-year-old boy I said who couldn't get to school because of his anxiety about something was so severe. So he wasn't going into school when he's 12. And then we had one session and then he was going back into school, a happy, different boy. So there we go. That's the...
Yeah. What's the number one factor that you attribute to no longer being in a wheelchair?
Oh, LP. Yeah, only that. 24 years, I tried obviously medications. A lot of them made me just feel a lot worse. I was on morphine sometimes and Valium and just really horrible medications that didn't help me.
Did you have a coach?
Pardon?
Did you have a coach?
No, well, not until I discovered NLP. And then that was, you just keep trying things and you trying to find the answers and, you just one day happen across the thing that works. And it took 24 years, unfortunately, for me. But then when I did, I tried as many alternative therapies and remedies as I could, Chinese medicine, healing, all kinds of different, everything I was trying, but nothing touched it. Nutrition, nothing made a dent in it. But then I went on a very particular NLP course that's designed for chronic illnesses like the one I had, and it changed my life, gave me my entire life back. But it took about 8 months before I was really well. So because you have to rewire your neurology and that structure, this neural structure of your brain, which is very much fused in a certain way when you have this with a chronic illness or a mental health struggle, your neural pathways are fused into a pile of tangled nastiness. So you have to spend a lot of time working with that and applying a particular process. This one that I learned. And essentially what you're doing is you're changing those pathways again. You're creating a new dialogue, a new narrative, a new story, and that becomes your default instead. And then your body is able to then heal because that stress load is reduced off of your system. So I was in a chronic state of ill health, and I was very, very ill for 8-year relapse in my 20s, 30s, 4-year relapse from 2012 to 16, where I was mostly in a dark room and bedbound and living in quite a very grim time. My family would bring food and put it by my bed and have to sit there very quietly because I couldn't tolerate light and sound. So I was very ill. But once this NLP technique, once I did it, it basically switched off all the fight or flight response that my body was in a constant state of, and that reduces the load of hormones and adrenaline and cortisol that are constantly being loaded onto your system. And that's what causes chronic illness in my case of the chronic illness I had. So you take that off your system, your body's absolutely fine underneath, and I was then able to heal and be well and go rock climbing. So NLP.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Is Kurt coming? That's awesome. Her story's awesome, right, Kurt?
Yeah, good stuff. We can, put that to good use. Before I came on here to the show, I was meeting with one of our friends from the Happy Neighborhood Project, and I was talking about linguistics and not really talking to say directly mindset, but kind of thinking of what we did talk about, easy segue of the stuff we talked about with mindset. There was a little bit of sharing of fear in terms of, what our friend offers in terms of bringing what she offers to someone else. And we did have quite an elaborate conversation about the relationship between businesses and people with disabilities, and kind of the barrier between people with disabilities and products. And so I was absolutely amazed at the at kind of the newfound idea that we ended up with for teaming up together to say that we can come together and think a little bit more boldly about how products that we see available through the Happy Neighborhood Project and elsewhere, that we in the professional arena can maybe up our game a little bit in terms of learning the best practices and the tips, tricks, and techniques learned from the disability community and how to do business with them. So that's kind of what I'm pulling together here, hearing the conversation here and seeing how my conversation before this show actually has some intersection to what we're talking about here. Emily, you were in that conversation. What do you think?
Yeah. I didn't hear the last good part of it, but there was the whole thing of like choosing her words carefully, in terms of not to like offend somebody with a disability, that kind of thing. Right, Kurt?
That's right. So Allison, in your journey, where are people with disabilities come into your journey, Allison?
I don't have a niche or anything. It's just I work with humans. So if somebody came to me with disability, I would work with them. If it was appropriate, and it's the same with somebody that didn't have a disability. It's whether I felt that I could help them in some way. So for me, I'm just open to whoever's wanting to speak to me and resonates with what I do.
Can I put the group on the spot?
Sure. What is it, Tony?
Kind of amplifying what this room does, what you guys do almost daily with all your podcasts. What message would you send the world if you had a gigantic speaker that echoed, and anyone would take a stab at it?
Kurt, do you want to go first?
Apparently I do. Thanks for giving me the cue that I do.
I'm sorry, Kurt.
So this is what I have for you as you give me the cue that I do want to go next. Dr. Seuss aside, the buzzword is integration.
Yes.
So the friend that we just met with, she too wanted to know a little bit more of what my focus is and kind of what my intentions are, kind of where, kind of for her to participate, like to learn, what am I participating? And I told her, what you're seeing me go out there recruiting disability allies. And the idea with recruiting disability allies is there's not too many people in the world that you say, hello, are you a disability ally? And that they would say yes. That's a rare breed, folks. Very rare to be in a conversation, get to know somebody, ask the question, are you a disability ally? And they say yes. So the idea is, this is my work. My work is to say, first of all, I want 8 billion people to know what a disability ally is. What do you think about that, Shawn? What do you think about that, Shawn? Does Shawn having audio issues?
Yeah, we haven't heard him the whole time.
Okay, all right, no problem, Shawn. Just relax. If you get your audio working, chime in here. But in any case, that created what they say in the business is the pregnant pause. But we'll pick up on that and say, so again, integration from the perspective of people with disabilities, and to empower people that don't identify with the disability to be more involved, or some to be involved at all, with the disability community. And so my story is that it took 4 decades, folks, 40 years of my life before I really understood a giant chunk of what I missed. I'm not standing here saying I know all of what I'm missing, because I feel like this is a ginormous task that I'm taking on for the rest of my life, to learn as much more as I can from people with disabilities. Shawn, you got audio now?
Well,
Hey, Shawn, so what do you think about the crusade of recruiting disability allies? What are your thoughts, Shawn?
I think we should, because everybody's a special person, and you don't know from inside and out the person with the disability or not, because some disabilities you can't see, and I've lived with a disability all my life, and I'm a proven witness that God makes miracles every day, because I'm 40 years old, Tony. I wasn't supposed to be here, anybody, and I'm supposed to be blind. They told my parents to put me away. My parents did not. Have 2 beautiful brothers and sisters that love me for who I am, and I love my siblings, and I also live with a bunch of disabled women that are mostly older than me, and I help them every single day of my life, and I love them. I love who they are, and it's hard to be around a bunch of women, but it's okay. But like, living with a disability, and my sister and brother having a disability, they accepted me for who I was, and they've always been there for me all my life. And I'm grateful that my mother lives not too far from me, and my brother doesn't either. He only lives 2 hours away. But like, with disability, I've been there all my life, and my mother was always a forefront for me and other people that she didn't even know, Tony. Like, she would say, like, I don't care if this child isn't mine. I'm going to tell you the rules, how this goes here. And she's like, no, I don't care if it's not my child or not. But she used to put it like, my mom, that they didn't like my mother. He said, oh, hell, here comes Shawn's mom, she didn't raise hell. My mom used to be like people that weren't even her child. She's like, I don't care. But like, yeah, my mom put up ramps. It's like, you have to. You're gonna get sighted. I don't care. And my father used to build. My father's a builder, does construction, and he used to go to I live in a small town. He used to live in a small town, and like the boys and girls lived in the house. They call my dad. He said, what they need to fix something. He told them I'm coming. Like, he used to fix stuff, and he built houses for a living. And my brother, I love you, Tony, because my brother is an electrical engineer, and he works from home now, and he loves his job. And my brother's always had a job all his life, but like he loves the electric and engineering, and the rest of my family's in the medical field, and my mother is too. My rest of my family, most of them, but like, I love being with disabled people because they're my family, and they treat me for who I am, and that's what I think we should all do in this world. Treat people for who they are, and don't judge people for what they have, because I've been in a chair. I've been in a chair before, and like in America, and people look at you crazy, and in America, and it's like, and I get sick of people staring at people. It's like, I want to say, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? I get that stare a lot, and people think I'm not disabled, but I live with cerebral palsy, scoliosis in my back, and I have no rights to anybody in my back. I refuse not to. I just live with the rest of my life. I have cerebral palsy, and I have rheumatoid arthritis I deal with on a daily basis. That's not fun to deal with, but it's just in my hands, and I deal with three amazing roommates that I love to death, and I check on them all the time, and they always love me for who I am, and I'm grateful for the people that I have around me in my life, and my friends I have in my life, and I love being disabled because I say that because Tony, because like I found my tribe, and they realize who I am. I have friends that are disabled, and one of them, she checks on me, and she found me on Clubhouse, and we got each other's numbers, so like we check on each other, and both have the same cerebral palsy, but hers is more severe than mine, but her in a wheelchair compared to me, but I love this room, and I love all y'all in this room, and I thank you for all the exercises, Kurt, that we always do, and it's very fun, and I'm just appreciative of being in this room with y'all, and I'm glad y'all can hear me now. So like, yeah, I'm complete.
That's so lovely. Like, it's just nice to hear someone talking with such love for so many things in their life. It's really moving.
Thank you, Shawn.
You're welcome.
Anybody have any last? Probably should be reading about 2 hour here, but Kurt or anybody have any last things that they want to make sure is said here?
I would say thanks for having me join you guys tonight or today, and it's the morning or daytime for you guys, but it's 9 o'clock here in the UK. So thank you guys for having me join you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll
Hey
see
guys,
you.
kind of an urgent need. I've got a 91-year-old father-in-law calling me from his chair, so I'm gonna have to use one of those nuggets and some NLP. And Shawn, your motivation, and Emily, your smile. But just so you guys know, he's been in his bed for about 3 months with bed sores and foot issues, and today's the first day in a month he's not in bed. He's actually in his chair.
Oh, nice.
He's smiling and laughing. And Shawn, if you get on my schedule, I'd love to one-on-one with you. As you too, Allison. But after this, I'm gonna go down there and drink some coffee with him and just smile. 91. He was in the Korean War.
Wow.
Tough old bird. For him to be out of that chair. Out of that bed and in his chair drinking coffee is nothing short of a miracle. So I'm going to go take advantage of the time.
How's memory, Tony?
Sir?
How's his memory at 91?
Sometime it's this last month has been kind of screwy. Thanks for asking. But he's got his sense of humor and he remembers serious things. We think it may be the beginning stages of dementia, but not really. I was just down there. He was quoting Bible scripture with me before this meeting. So I don't know. I'm just going to hold his hand, put my arm around him, and love him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to watch football together. I tell him to twinkle his toes, call him old twinkle toes. This is wheelchair. He makes his toes twinkle, it just cracks me up.
That's sweet.
Give him, tell him we say hi.
Yeah,
everybody here.
I hope to see
nice to meet you
guys
Tony.
again soon. God bless.
But Kurt, do you have any last things that for you to say?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Allison, for joining us past the 9 o'clock hour over there and spending the night with us. And so we hope maybe as your head hits the pillow tonight, maybe there's a little extra satisfaction, a little deeper sleep tonight because we've taken a deep dive into life. And so, yeah, I'm very appreciative that the group here kind of carried on while I was taking care of another friend, for the first part of the show, and was able to dive in here and just roll with it. You guys worked with the thoughts that I brought in, maybe a little aside from the conversation you're really having. And Marianne was in here, and she got to partake before she obviously had to get going. So we enjoy this every week on Saturday. And again, celebrating our partners with Transforming Media Network, the PAC channel, and our collaboration of the World of Ability Podcast Network. So yeah, again, this is the anchor show of the network, World of Abilities. So we welcome everybody back. Being here today is a free pass anytime, any Saturday. And we do have that radio show on Wednesdays. But that gets to be pretty late in the night, Allison. That gets to be during, kind of over the top party time for you, because 7:37 was like past midnight for you. So to get started.
Yeah, it's like 1:30 in the morning or something like that.
No.
But we're happy to collaborate even with that one and come up with maybe like some short video snippets or short little messages, PSAs, advertisements, or just good messages to share video-wise for everybody that the live session is not the right time. And then we have about 10 other shows that we're working with to help other podcasts, creators and radio personalities and TV business. So we're creating a new show here at the World of Ability Podcast Network that's really going to be done through directly the Disability channel. So we're going to be having the TDC networking show. So Emily's working that one up, seeing where it's going to fit in the calendar. But Allison and Shawn, if you two or either of you have any interest in the TDC networking show, let us know. It's just on the drawing board right now. We just had 2 conversations on it, but we're inviting all of our show contributors to be a part of that next edition. It's real exciting. So with that, Emily, back to you. Let's wrap this up. Let's put a bow on it.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Again, we do give special thanks and recognition to Marcus Hart and Transforming Media, Jay Stoyan and the Disability channel, as well as Zach Clayton from the PAC channel for allowing us to have this show on their platforms. I would also encourage everybody to check us out on all of our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, pages and groups, and other things. And subscribe, like, comment, interact with those. For those of you who have any questions, comments, anything like that, you can always reach out to me at 715-303-9835 or at podcastengineer54@gmail.com. And you can also get a hold of Kurt at 262-372-1754 or at abilitymke@gmail.com. So, as with that, on behalf of the World of Ability podcast, on behalf of Kurt and the rest of the World of Ability Podcast Network, I wish everybody a safe and healthy week and to stay happy.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Recording stopped.
Welcome, Allison. Let's do this again sometime.
Nice one, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Yep, you too. Have a great night. Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Emily, so much. You're great.
Yeah.
You're awesome. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.